Once we entered the city like gods. One scuttles in now like a rat, the architectural historian Vincent Scully once said, referring to the soaring spaces of New York's original Pennsylvania station and the cramped underground warren that replaced it in the 1960s. Designed by architect Charles McKim, the vast Roman-inspired building of marble and pink granite drew 100,000 visitors on the day it opened in 1910. Lorraine Deal, author of The Late Great Pennsylvania Station, remembers playing there as a child.
Every space just sort of triggered your imagination. For instance, when you walk in from 8th Avenue, that was the great train shed, the concourse. And it was this extraordinary space of great vaulted iron columns and a glass ceiling, and the dust particles would just drift in and just be frozen in space. And you felt that this was a room of journeys. Your mind took a journey before you ever got on a train in this space.
The building was adorned with sculptures of eagles and maidens, one representing day, the other night, as shown in a picture book by New York artist William Lowe. Lowe never saw the actual building, but was inspired by old photographs and descriptions.
It's just awe-inspiring. It would be like the first time I saw the Grand Canyon. The idea of this immense space, you can't put into words.
Lowe painted the separate rooms of the station, the concourse at night under the glass and steel roof, the restaurants and arcade, and the vaulted waiting room, which novelist Thomas Wolfe described as vast enough to hold the sound of time, a drowsy and eternal murmur. But in the early 1960s, the Pennsylvania Railroad Company, which owned the station, was failing. So it sold the above-ground location of the station to the developers of a sports arena, Madison Square Garden.
It was torn down, and the sculptures were ripped apart and unceremoniously dragged and dumped into the New Jersey Meadowlands.
Only 6 picketing architects protested the 1963 demolition, to no avail. The loss sank in gradually and led to the development of the city's landmarks protection laws.
Nobody is happy with Penn Station as it exists in New York today. People who never even saw the original Penn Station mourn its loss. It was probably the greatest architectural crime that has been committed in New York City.
Peg Breen is president of the New York Landmarks Conservancy, a private group. Breen's group has been working since 1993 to turn an old post office building across the street into a third version of Penn Station, to be named after the late Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan, who championed the idea.
This was built in 1912 by Charles McKim, the architect of Pennsylvania Station, and it's the architectural twin to the old Penn Station. It was built when public spaces were built to honor the public. And when you walked into a building, it said, you know, this is a great city, you are a good citizen in a wonderful space.
The conversion is expected to cost well over $1 billion, and if all goes well, to be completed in 8 years. It will still be only a faint shadow of the original Penn Station, but Breen's group says it will again give train passengers arriving in New York a beautiful door into the city. Carolyn Weaver, VOA News, New York.